Okay, real quick, my Instagram and my Facebook community are down below. That is how you can easily get in contact with me. I answer every comment and DM as soon as I can. And if you want to schedule a video call, I do that over Google Meet. I do 30 minutes, an hour, and 2 hours for $25, $45, and $85. All of that will be in the description. Let's get into the video. All right, normally I write things down, but I really just want to freestyle this one. And this one is going to be about you reap what you sow, because this isn't some idea that came to me. What I'm going to be sharing is from an experience that happened 2 days ago. And I'm going to share it in a way that isn't prideful, in a way that isn't talking down on someone. But I knew during this time that it was like, this has to be an example. So I gotta name my fault first. I abuse my workplace. I work at a smoothie and juice bar. Okay, there's delicious fruits all around me. And when you work, you're allowed one small drink for free, or for $2 you can get a bowl. And you know, I see the majority of the workers there, they make themselves a bowl for free, they make themselves a medium size for free, and we're all like, okay, like, don't tell, you don't tell, I won't tell, like, we'll just keep it down. And you know, our owner's great. So why are we doing this? I don't know, pride, because we can, because who's gonna call us out, you know, thinking that we're untouchable. And that attitude rubbed off on me. And then I started to become the worst abuser, in my opinion. You know, I remember specifically one time making like 3 bowls in a shift, and just the amount of smoothies, and I paid for it too. Like, it's not like I wasn't eating this stuff and suffering. Like, my gluttony was taking me through it. And I remember the shift before this incident happened, it inspired me for this video. I was looking at myself and I was like, dude, like, you're such a punk. You know, you can lie to yourself. You can work so hard for someone that trusts you, and you just take from them like this. And granted, like, yeah, it's just fruit, but like, this man's a father. This man has promoted me. This man has raised me. This man trusts me. Like, why can't I just put my gluttony aside and just respect him and what he wishes? Because I thought I was untouchable. Because who's gonna see it? You know, that was my attitude, right? And so, as above, so below. If any of you have ever heard that saying, what it means is whatever is going on within, expect to experience it with outside of you. So as within, so without. So as above, as above, so below. But regardless, I think you understand. This switch in shifts happened, where this midday person, who is not the hardest working, is a sweetheart, is a big heart, but is not the hardest working, got switched onto the late night shift, which I am the leader of. And so they ask me if they can take their 10-minute break to go over to return something, or if they need to take a 30 to clock out. And so in the end, what happened is we decided 20 minutes, don't clock out, just be back on time. And this person in the past we've had run-ins before. And so for sure, over 35 minutes pass, and I hear nothing. And I'm like, I can't let this slide. You know, like, at this point, I feel disrespected. And they walk in and immediately lie when I call them and say, hey, I need you to clock out for 30 minutes. They say, oh, I texted you that I was gonna do that. I looked at my text, that wasn't true. And I say, not to go bad against them, but like, how much of this is a reflection of what I've been doing? You know, lying to those that trust me. And so then she starts to throw a little hissy fit, you know, because she gets, that's a rough word, but she starts fighting back, you know, she starts talking out of frustration because she's been caught. And this is me when I catch myself in the act of this gluttony, when I call myself out in these acts of gluttony, in these acts of pride, in these acts of thinking that I'm untouchable. And in those moments, though, I'm like, what are you gonna do? You know, this is me to me. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, this auditory thought can completely take over this body, and I can keep the gluttony going. Doesn't matter. What are you gonna do? And so that's kind of this attitude that was coming up, except it was like, I've been caught. Now I'm just mad. Now I'm because that's what happens when you deny yourself. When you deny yourself when you're in this mode. Okay, well, I want to go do this. I want to go do all that. No, we can't do that. We know that that's the wrong decision. We need to do this because this is what's going to get us to love. This is what's going to get us to the goal. This is what's going to keep us healthy, happy, all this stuff, like the drugs, the overeating, the being around bad people, like all this stuff that you don't need to do that. Okay, and so you start throwing a hissy fit because you find comfort in those things. But that comfort is false. It's not sustainable. Whenever I say false, I don't mean like it's not real. Like the sense experience of it is real, but it's not sustainable. It will kill you. It will kill you. It's a slow and steady death. All suffering is death. It's slow and it's steady, but love is life. And so back to the story, I digress. Just started to act up. And then fear comes in, you know? You're not gonna tell on me, are you? And by that she meant I wasn't gonna talk to the owner, which again, it's like the same thing as me. It's like, no one please tell on me for my gluttony. Like, please don't. So it was really weird. But at this moment I hadn't caught up with this as above, so below instance. I was just so honestly annoyed that I was way too selfish and focused on how angry I was at this person that I wasn't seeing the bigger picture. And things keep going and they keep going, and eventually like I get a phone call and I'm on it, and once I'm done, you know, the timer rings that I set up and I'm like, okay, you can clock back in. She's like, oh, I already clocked in a while ago. And I look at her and I'm like, where's the respect? Like, what is this? And at this point, like I'm just like, I'm over it. I don't want to continue. And so I grab some stuff and I go and clean the bathroom. You know, the bathroom there is like a safe space, just this little square. Door's there. No one has to talk to me. I don't have to see anything, nothing. And I'm there and I'm just cleaning, and I just look in the mirror and I'm like, why is this happening to me? You know, like, what did I do to deserve this? And the second I said that, boom, all this information hits me. It's all of it, just all these moments of gluttony, all these moments of pride, all these moments of just lying to myself. That is the worst. I'm not sure if that's the first step of pride, but I know that is, to me, the worst step of pride is the ability to lie to yourself. The ability to look at yourself and say, oh, we're gonna do this, and no, oh, we're gonna eat like this, no. Like, if you keep doing this, no, just completely lying to yourself. Just imagine yourself as a child, and that's what you're doing. You're abusing the child within you, consistently disappointing yourself over and over and over again until you can't trust yourself. So all you can do is lie to yourself, you know, and maybe hope that one of these days you turn around. And the second that hit me, the second that I realized that what she was at that moment was in total embodiment of these actions, of these thoughts, you know, as above, so below, as within, so without. Like, she was literally these things manifest, these characteristics, these attributes that I had been expressing manifest to teach me that this is what you're gonna manifest if you keep acting like this way unconsciously. And you better stop doing it consciously, because this is what you're getting. And this clearly isn't what I wanna create. And so at that moment, a lot of what she did was just washed away because love overcame me. And I realized that I needed to speak not only to myself in this way in the future out of love if I want to make a change, but I need to speak to her if I need to, so I can de-escalate the situation. And from that moment, like, I apologized. From that moment, I spoke to her kindly. I spoke to her I spoke to her in a loving way relative to being approached in this way. You know, sometimes there's hard love, sometimes there's soft love, sometimes there's gentle love. Sometimes there's, intense love. So I spoke in a loving way and de-escalated the situation to the best of my ability. I don't know how she feels, but I know how I feel relative to her. And then yesterday I did a coconut water fast and some tea, and I did it. I finally reached the 24-hour mark. The first time I made it a little bit over 18 hours. The second time I went 22 hours. This time I made it 24. And deep down I knew that I should have just ended the day with no food. Like I could just keep going to the next day and then I could break the fast. However, like my pride kicked in. It's like, okay, we did what you asked me. Like, let me do what I want to do. And even though the more gentle, relaxed side of me was just feeling like, no, like just the coconut, you're not even hungry right now. Genuinely, you're not even hungry. You're just craving sugars. You're just being selfish. And I was going to a local church. Again, I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic. I just enjoy spaces where people believe and celebrate love. People believe and celebrate God. People believe and celebrate Krishna. I want to go to a Hindu temple one of these days. I don't care what the label for love for the Supreme is at that place. I just love being around people that are rejoicing, around people that believe in hope and faith. And that anytime I can be around that, anytime I can speak about that, I'll do it. So I think that was a bit of pride and self-defense of like, don't label me coming out there. But regardless, I was at a church. I was just going to a Wednesday service, and the craving for a watermelon, the craving for something was really coming out. I wanted to spend money. I wanted to get all this stuff. And there was free fruit there. So I broke it. I broke the fast there. I got the 24 hours. I broke the fast with some fruit. And then I got in my car. I was like, oh, I could just buy a watermelon. I knew I was lying to myself. This is what was coming up. The lying was coming up, the pride. And I was aware of it, but I was hoping I could stop. But the thing is once you give in just a little bit, your will, and will is just your energy, where you're allocating it. And the will is your ability to consciously allocate your energy in whatever direction you want to go. But whenever you give in to any of these like sins, like lust, greed, envy, pride, I still don't know all of them, but those are the ones I can name off the top of my head. Your will becomes broken. And by broken, I would go as far to say that is sending it in a direction which you are not desiring, whether it is conscious or unconscious. There's momentum in that direction now. And so I went in, I bought a watermelon, I bought 2 avocados for salads I was gonna make later. I bought a thing of blueberries. I ate all the blueberries, I ate the watermelon, then I bought some hummus, and then I bought some chips made out of popcorn. Pop chips, pretty good. But, it's like, why couldn't I have gone that whole day? It was 9 p.m. at that point. Like, I could have just laid down, gone to sleep, woken up early, and just done everything feeling great. No, I needed to give in to this pride, this gluttony. But when I was going to sleep, when I decided to lay down, I've been trying not to just sleep, which to me is just becoming unconscious for however so many hours. Like, I want there to be no separation between the dream and returning here. I want there to be no separation between leaving here and entering the dream. There's so much information that's important. There's so much experience. There's so much that you can experience in those moments that saves you time from having to go about and trying to experience it here. It becomes so vivid and so real. Last night, yeah. Maybe again, I'll start posting experiences that happen to me like that, but that's not really where my focus is right now with the channel. But the breath is a crazy thing, man. It does a lot. It does a lot for you. But as I laid down to enter into my dream, I entered my meditation first, because if I enter my meditation while doing my full diaphragmatic breathing, I can enter the dream, the astral projection, so much more consciously. And I was thinking about how I lied to myself and how frustrated I was with myself. And I was like, why is this? Like, where is this occurring? Why is this happening? And boom! Ooh, sorry. Memories of this incident with my coworker came up, and how she lied to me, and how I knew she was lying to me. She lied so many times to me during this time, and I didn't call her out for anything. I just took him. I just took him and processed the anger within me. And clearly I really didn't process it, because the next day going into the night of the next morning, I was still processing it and still mad and still, So it was like, how much resentment do I hold towards myself for these times where I blatantly lie, and sorry for the lack of better words, but like rape my body, you know, force myself to overeat, force myself to make my organs stretch, to compensate my gluttony, you know, just not listening to myself saying, stop, please stop. It's only until everything is finished, the food, everything is finished, that I stop. You know, and so it was like, that was manifesting. There's someone stepping over me and me not doing anything about it. Me stepping my foot down and them still walking over me, such as unclocking, when I was trying to, you know? And so you reap what you sow. If you, and by the way, I didn't know this until like recently, but sowing is not like that. Like, it's a farming technique. And I know I look silly, but if you sow some mango seeds, okay, do not be confused when you don't grow zucchini. Okay, if you sow seeds of pride, seeds of gluttony, seeds of lying to yourself, do not be surprised when people lie to you, when people make fun of you, when people shame you, when people approach you with pride, when people think they're better than you. Do not be surprised, because you're already expressing this within. As within, so without. There is no separation. There is none. So this is why you have to be careful with what you do with the mind and what you do with the body, because these are divine tools of creation, divine tools of expression. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to use them. They're gonna work, and they're gonna produce creation. They're gonna produce results. So learn the mind, learn the body, learn how to balance them, learn how to use them, learn how to maintain them, learn how to discipline them. And you'll live a life that is completely intentional. And a life that is completely intentional is freedom, because there is no undesired thing. There is no unconscious action, unconscious word, unconscious meal that you have to put yourself through, that binds you to situation, that binds you to pain, that binds you to suffering. There's no unnecessary tangents that you have to go through. So, you reap what you sow. That's all I wanted to say. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.